there's a lot of misconception and confusion around the, suicide. South Africa, as I've been told yesterday by a representative of SADAG, if you don't know who SADAG is, it's the South African Depression and Anxiety Group. And they deal with cases of suicide where people literally call them all day. 2,500 people on average a day called through to this line, and they've only got 250 consultants. Now, if you've been following along, then you may have noticed that I was digging into SADAG quite a bit. Right, I even did a call live with them yesterday, and I am going to publicly apologize because I do understand now why sometimes they would miss a call. All right. So with my case, the couple of times that I found, okay, protocol wasn't followed, but then I also understand that everyone who's actually on the other side of the line are volunteers. Yes, people are actually giving up their time to speak to people who are literally on the brink of committing suicide, okay? So, as much as I am into exposing flaws, I am also very willing to come on and admit when I have made a mistake or I've jumped the gun, and I now have a deeper understanding of why they are not operating to their potential. It's easy to blame them for missing a call and someone committing suicide, but government isn't giving them much resources either, and they actually came on ENCA the other day to highlight that. I don't know how effective it was, but government is creating a problem for 1 year in South Africa with regards to parental alienation. Right now, parental alienation has led to many suicides among men, mostly, but women as well. Okay, it is terrible the effects that parents have to go through. It's like mourning a child every day while they're alive, and that it's just evil, if you ask me. But government is allowing these things to happen through our courts, through our systems, through police, through social workers, through everything, and it's created this multi-billion rand industry here in South Africa that lots of lawyers, mediators, these private psychologists, all of that have their fingers in. So that is where the main focus needs to come in, on people who are actually gaining from this, making money from this industry of death, if I can call it that. Let me know in the chats where you're from. If you're just joining, please do remember to subscribe to this channel, hit the like button and the notification bell so that you don't miss any of the content coming up. Okay, we are going to, I'm just moving people over from Facebook to YouTube, but we're going to get into the myths soon about what people think, leads up to suicide. I just want to make mention that, I think it's gonna be a while for people to get over the fact that Rick has actually committed suicide. The one of the best rap artists in South Africa. But I hope it brings realization to people that we all have to pitch in here. All right, every one of us needs to be aware of mental health. All right, so if you're watching this and you're going through something, please do reach out, and I'm going to actually give you some insight into some resources that I found on SADAG's website, which I think is amazing. All right, specifically we are covering teen suicide. That has been, I just wanted to extend that, and then from next week we'll focus more on everyone that's affected, so all age groups. All right, but it was appalling to me that teens only got a week really for this devastating effects to be highlighted in our country. All right, I just wanted to bring a bit more awareness to it, but we're going to cover it as a whole next week. So Let's look at what resources Sadag has actually got on their website and what they've provided us with. All right, so if you go under, let me just go full screen here. So if you go under the suicide tab on their website, okay, if you want to know what their website is, let me just show you here. It's sadag.org, okay, sadag.org. You can see the address there. If you're watching on your phone, just well, let me see if I can zoom in a bit. Okay, actually I can't zoom in a bit, it just zooms in the page, but it's sadag.org, okay, and that's the South African Depression and Anxiety Group. Now let's go into the resources here quickly of what they provide specifically for teens. Under the suicide tab here, you've got teen suicide prevention, and that's what we want to do. Prevention is better than cure, right? So let's check here. Alright, so they've got online resources, but I scroll down to this section here because there's quick infographics that people can just get, quick information if there's if there's possible warning signs. And we'll go into the warning signs in a moment, right? Let's go through the myths. I went through this briefly yesterday, but I want to go through each one of these myths here quickly. We just touch on that, and then we can look at the preventative measures, what we can do as a people to help minimize and prevent this, right? I would like to say eradicate it completely. There should be no deaths by suicide at all right? So myth number one, people who talk about suicide really won't do it. The fact is that in many cases, teens who have thought of suicide or have died by suicide have given some kind of warning sign through their behavior or something they have said. All suicide mentions or threats should be taken seriously. It could be a way for the person to let you know that something serious is wrong and they need help. Okay, that's pretty self-explanatory there, okay? Let's look at myth number two. Talking about suicide makes people more likely to kill themselves. Fact. I just want to interject there quickly. There was a lady that I was speaking to the other night, and her daughter made a YouTube video, actually, of which I'm not going to share. The fact remains is that she was speaking about dying. She wants to die. She might as well be dead. And she repeated this in mother's presence as well after the mother spoke. Now, I encouraged the mother to speak to her, and she felt like that was a huge mistake because now the child hates her even further. Well, that's what she believes at least. But that is a myth, okay? And this is what Sadag says, yeah. So the fact is that research shows that talking about suicide with a young person does not cause them to have thoughts of suicide or kill themselves. But not talking about it can lead to thoughts of suicide turning into actions. Right? Talking about suicide and depression creates an opportunity to discuss feelings and thoughts that might have otherwise would remain hidden. Most teens who are thinking about suicide are actually honest and relieved when asked direct questions about their suicidal thoughts. Okay, let me zoom in there a bit and just remove that there. Okay, so it's completely the opposite of what this lady thought, and I hope she's watching it, because not talking about it makes this child feel isolated. It makes them feel like nobody cares, and that's where they tip over. Okay, and this is from Sadag. As far as I stand to be corrected, but I think I heard the managers say yesterday that they are in this for 28 years, and I mean 2,500 calls a day. You can imagine the experience from these people. So they've done their homework. They know what they're talking about here, as I've discovered yesterday. So again, apologies, Sadak, for not thinking that you guys are there. I understand now that you are just way too overburdened, all right? And we need to have a serious look at that, whether it be raising funds to get more consultants. I've offered my services as well to build some automation, chatbots, and automatic answering machines, so that if anything is missed, we can still let the person know on the other line, look, we are here, we just very, like, there's too many calls coming in. However, here are some quick resources. Answer these questions, and when a consultant gets on the line, you can get immediate help. Right? So things like that. Right? Let me know hit the like button if you like that solution. Right? Let me know in the comments if you've got any proposed solutions. If you've had any experience with Sadag and you've got ways and means of supporting, please don't come in this and want to charge people for it. I donated my services completely, so I'll build whatever they need in order to minimize or reduce at least the amount of workload so that they can get to things faster. Right, I'm not charging for that. So myth number 3. People who attempt suicide are just trying to get attention. I've heard this one a lot. Fact: all threats or mentions of suicide should be taken seriously, and professional help is needed. Threatening suicide may be a call for help, but something must be wrong for someone to threaten suicide in order to get attention or help. Okay, so there's underlying, I've been mentioning this over and over. We're looking at surface level problems here. This person wants attention, they're just acting out, and whatever the case may be. Teens specifically. All right, you look at a bully at school. What do? They suspend the bully. He's always in trouble and all of that. But you don't know what's happening in that child's life at home and why they're acting out. So it's on teachers also to go a bit deeper into this. And I'll show you the resources here on the site that teachers can go to. There's webinars. You don't have to remain ignorant about this, okay? You don't. If you watch this video and you turn the other cheek, then you are guilty. You should be dealt with the same way I believe a murderer be dealt with. Right? That's just my opinion. But if you are in a position to help a child that is in trouble and you turn the other cheek, you've killed that child. Right? You certainly haven't prevented anything. So myth number 4: most suicide attempts occur without warning signs. The fact: most teens are suicidal most teens who are suicidal or who have died by suicide have given some signs, either physically or verbally. It might not always be direct, so it is important to know how to identify the warning signs and seek help. All right, we'll go into the warning signs shortly. But yes, it never just happens like that. There's a build up to where they finally put the rope up, take the gun. There's so many things that can happen to prevent this from happening, from a teen going through with this, or anybody going through with this. So we'll go into that warning signs in a moment. All right. So I just wanted to bust all the myths here. Right, only teens who are depressed attempt suicide.